Devi Saraswati Vyam Tato Jaya Mudirare. For reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of progress, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of our Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, who is humility, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Shasdev, the author. Nashakayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhagir Bhavati Naistiki. By regular attendance in the class on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service with the pure devotee, all endless troubles of the heart were completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of God, who is faced with the transcendental song, is established as the irrevocable fact. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjala Shalakaya Chakshurumindram Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master, the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Hare Krishna.
So today we're reading from 7th canto, 5th chapter. So we'll read the translation of all these verses, and then we'll do the Sanskrit for, if you guys don't mind, 30, 31, and 30, and the purport for 31. Text 25. After hearing these words of devotional service from the mouth of his son Prahlad, Hiranyakashipu was extremely angry. His lips trembling, he spoke as following to Shanda, the son of his guru Shukracharya. Does anyone remember why he was so angry, or what Prahlad spoke that agitated? He shared the 9 process of devotional service. And does anyone remember the question to which he answered this?
What did you learn in school?
Yeah, what did you learn in school? Prahlad, if he wanted to, he could have just said geography, and he would have saved the entire. They would have been the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam. They would have lived happy after. But he said this, and Hiranyakashipu was extremely angry. And then he says, "O unqualified, most heinous son of a Brahmana, you have disobeyed my order and taken shelter of the party of my enemies. You have taught this poor boy about devotional service. What is this nonsense?" In due course of time, various types of diseases are manifested in those who are sinful. Similarly, in this world, there are many deceptive friends in this false, but eventually, because of their false behavior, their actual enmity becomes manifest. The son of Shukracharya, Hiranyakashipu's spiritual master, said, "O enemy of King Indra, O king, whatever your son Prahlad has said, he was not taught to him by me or anyone else. His spontaneous devotional service has naturally developed in him. Therefore, please give up your anger and don't necessarily accuse me. It's not good to insult a Brahmana in this way." Sri Narad Muni continued, when Hiranyakashipu received this reply from the teacher, he again addressed his son Prahlad. Hiranyakashipu said, "You rascal, most fallen of our family, if you have not received this education from your teachers, where have you gotten it?" Prahlad Maharaj replied, "Because of their uncontrolled senses, persons too addicted to materialistic life make progress towards hellish conditions and repeatedly chew that which has been already chewed. Their inclination towards Krishna are never aroused, either by the instruction of others, by their own efforts, or by a combination of both. Persons who are strongly entrapped by the consciousness of enjoying material life, and who have therefore accepted as their leader or guru a similar blind man attached to external sense objects, cannot understand that the goal of life is to return home, back to Godhead, and engage in the service of Lord Vishnu. As blind men guided by another blind man miss the right path and fall into a ditch, materialistically attached men by other materialistically attached men are bound by the ropes of fruit of labor, which are made of very strong cords, and they continue again and again in materialistic life, suffering the threefold miseries. Unless they smear upon their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of Vaishnava, completely freed from the material contamination, persons very much inclined towards materialistic life cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, who is glorified for his uncommon activities. Only by becoming Krishna conscious and taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord this way can one be freed from material contamination." So we'll read verse 31.
31 or 32? 31 or 32?
31. Sorry.
Dura गति में विष्णु दूराये बहिरार्थमनीना अंधाय कांतरूपनीयमानस देवी शतंत्रां गुरुदां निहता नाते विदुस्वार्थ गतिभिः विष्णु दूराशयाये बहिरार्थमानिना अंधाय काले उपनीयमानस
देवी
शतंत्रां गुरुदां निहता नाते विदुस्वार्थ गतिभिः विष्णु दूराशयाये बहिरार्थमनिना दूराशयाये बहिरार्थमनिना अंधाय कान्तिरूपनीयमानस
देवी सत्यम ऊर्ध्वां निबध्नः
देवी शतनां गुरुदां निबध्नः
नाते विदुस्वार्थगतिं हि विष्णु
नाते विदुस्वार्थगतिं हि विष्णु दूराशयाये बहिरार्थमानिना अंधाय कान्तिरूपनीयमानस देवी शतंत्रां गुरुदां निबध्नः नाते विदुस्वार्थगतिं हि विष्णु दूराशयाये बहिरार्थमानिना अंधाय कान्तिरूपनीयमानस अंधाय कान्तिरूपनीयमानस देवी शतंत्रां गुरुदां निबध्नः
So, translated by His Holiness Dasi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We'll do word by word translation for word.
We read together.
We do it together. Word by word?
Yeah.
We do it together.
Namaste Devi Vidu no Swartagatim, the ultimate goal of life of their own real interest. He, indeed, Vishnu, Lord Vishnu and his abode. Durashya, being ambitious to enjoy his material world. Ye, who, by he, external sense objects. Arthamani, considering as valuable. Andaha, persons who are blind. Yatha, just as. Andahi, by other blind men. Upaniyamana, being led. Te, api, Ishatantriyam, to the ropes, laws of material nature. Uru, and very strong. Namni, gods. Pada, bound.
Perfect, maybe one paragraph. Message. Persons who are strongly entrapped by the consciousness of enjoying material life and who have therefore accepted as their leader or guru a similar blind man attached to external sense objects cannot understand that the goal of life is to return home, back to Godhead, and engage in the service of Lord Vishnu. As blind men guided by another blind man miss the right path and fall into a ditch, materially attached men led by another materially attached man are bound by the ropes of fruitive labor, which are made of very strong cords, and they continue again and again in materialistic life, suffering the threefold miseries.
Since there must always be a difference of opinion between demons and devotees, Hiranyakashipu, when criticized by his son Prahlad Maharaj, had been surprised that Prahlad Maharaj differed from his way of life. Nonetheless, Hiranyakashipu was extremely angry and wanted to rebuke his son for deriding his teacher or spiritual master, who had been born in the Brahmana family of the great Acharya Shukra. The word Shukra means semen, and Acharya refers to a teacher or guru. Hereditary gurus or spiritual masters have been accepted everywhere since time immemorial. Prahlad Maharaj declined to accept such a seminal guru or take instruction from him. Actual guru is Shrotriya, one who has heard or received perfect knowledge through parampara, the disciplic succession. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj recognized a seminal spiritual master. Such spiritual masters are not at all interested in vision. Indeed, they are hopeful of material success. Bahir Artha Manina. The word Bahi means external, Artha means interest, and Manina means taken very seriously. Generally speaking, practically everyone is unaware of the spiritual world. The knowledge of the materialist is restricted within the 4 billion words of this material world, which is in the dark portion of the creation. Do not know that beyond the material world is the spiritual world. Unless one is with the Lord, one cannot understand the existence of the spiritual world. Gurus teach are simply interested in this material world are described in this verse as andha, blind. Such blind men may lead many other blind followers without true knowledge of material conditions, but they are not accepted by devotees like Prahlad Maharaj. Such blind teachers being interested in the external material world are always bound by the strong ropes of material nature.
So, I want to start by this story, if that's okay. There was once a very rich, very wealthy king, and he had 4 wives, but really he only focused on 3. The first wife, he decorated very nicely. He gave her very nice treatment. He took her everywhere. He made sure that she was always very presentable. And it seemed like very nice between them. The second wife, she was very beautiful. And wherever the king would go, he would make sure to take his second wife and her off. The third wife, unlike these first 2, was more of a deeper connection. She was his confidant. Whenever the king had any problem, whenever he was struggling with his first 2 wives, or whenever he had struggles about war, he would go to the third wife. But the fourth wife, he neglected very deeply. And this fourth wife, she was not very physically appealing, she was not very rich, she was not very well spoken, but she was very, very caring for him, and she was the only one who was his true well-wisher. But this wife he neglected completely. Now the king spent his life happily with his 4 wives, and then time came for him to go. And as he's lying on his deathbed, he thought, I have 4 wives, I've invested so much energy and time into them, at least one of them will come with me, right, out of the 3 that he gave the most attention to. So he asked his first wife, said, I've decorated you so nicely, I've spent so much time and attention after you, will you come with me? And she said, no, you have decorated me so nicely, I will stay here. Why, it would be a waste of your energy. The second wife, the king took her everywhere. So the king said, okay, come with me here also. She said, no, after you die, I have to go other places with other people. So she didn't go. And the third wife, who was his confidant, you will at least come with me, right? You know all of my struggles, you know all of my life. You will come with me, right? She said, no, if I come with you, who will take care of all the other people? I can't come with you. And the king was defeated, and he didn't even think about the fourth wife. And the fourth wife came and said, I'll come with you. I've always been your well-wisher. So in the Vedas it is said that these four wives represent 4 aspects of life that we give, 3 aspects of our life that we give so much attention to, and 1 that I. The first that we decorate very, very nicely and we put so much attention into is our physical body. We are always, we put so much energy and time into maintaining and decorating it. But when the time comes, we leave our body, and our body is nothing but flesh and blood and bones. Our second is the beauty, and that represents our possessions, our wealth, our fame, everything that we try to show. They say that in this material world, the worth of a man is equal to the beauty of the things he has around him. And we put so much time and attention there as well, making sure that we look good, making sure that we are wealthy, making sure that we have status and fame. But none of this comes with us as well, because after you die, everyone forgets. And then the third is our confidence, and this represents our friends and family. Now, our friends and family are given to us by Krishna, so we must appreciate and care, but even our friends and family cannot come with us when we die. And the nature of our relationship with friends and family sometimes becomes more personal and we forget about keeping Krishna in the center. Even Krishna is the one who gave us the family, Krishna is the one who gave us our friends. Because sadhusanga is one of the most important aspects of bhakti. And still, we forget Krishna from that and we make it, very self-centered. But even these relationships cannot come with us when we die. And the only one that does come with us is our well-wisher, our Paramatma, our soul. And our Atma has forgotten our Paramatma, it has true nature. And in this verse, Prahlad Maharaj is speaking this to Hiranyakashipu because Prahlad feels this mercy that Hiranyakashipu has forgotten his fourth wife. He has forgotten his true nature, all of this. So that's why Prahlad Maharaj is speaking this verse to Hiranyakashipu to remind him that those who are attached to these material things and those who have accepted false material gurus and those who are pursuing immaterial life, they are chewing the chewed and they cannot attain spiritual success or any success. And so in verse 20, 25 and 26, Hiranyakashipu was chastising Shukracharya. Shukracharya has two sons who were teachers, Shanka and Amarka. And Hiranyakashipu was chastising them first, before he turns to Prahlad. Because he had so much love for Prahlad, because he had this attachment to his friends and family. So when Prahlad Maharaj says that I learned about devotional service, Hiranyakashipu was very angry because he should not be practicing Krishna consciousness, he should be practicing Hiranyakashipu consciousness. And that's what his teachers were trying to teach him and he wasn't learning it. So instead of chastising his son, first he chastises the teachers. Why are you teaching my sons this nonsense, waste of time, this so-called bhakti? Why are you, wasting my time, my son's time, teaching him the wrong thing? As most parents would get upset if their child was being taught something that was not in line with their teaching. And Shankar and Amarka immediately, I could never teach devotional service. That is not my business. Because they're devoted, they are brahmanas who are devoted to Hiranyakashipu. And this raises the question, where did Hiranyakashipu get this? When he was in the womb of Gayadu, his mother, who was in an ashram of Narad Muni recited the Bhagavatam there, and he had one chance to listen to the Bhagavatam, and that was it. And he had to make sure his entire life he was able to apply it. He had one chance to make sure that was his only chance. He heard the Bhagavatam once, and he had to apply it for the rest of his life. So I think the most important theme in these verses is service. And here we see that Prahlad Maharaj is first trying to serve Hiranyakashipu because he has that care for his father. He has that care, and he's trying to save him from falling into this material life. But his first service that gave him this blessing and empowerment was a service Narad Muni when he listened to Bhagavatam from him and he applied it into his life. So if we really want to take up Krishna conscious seriously and we really want to feel the ruchi or the bhava, the secret of that is service. Oftentimes devotees, I myself have experienced this, where we're chanting, we're reading, we're doing so many things, and we don't feel that ruchi or we don't feel the taste. We don't feel the empowerment that this devotional service has. And oftentimes the missing bead or the missing puzzle piece is service. And every single acharya, the entire Bhagavatam, everything really emphasizes this mood of service. And here we see that Prahlad Maharaj, he served Narad Muni by not only hearing from him, but following his instructions. Because it is said that the greatest service one can do to a Vaishnava is to listen to them and to put their instructions into application. There are 3 classes of intelligent men. The first class is one who listens to the instruction of a bona fide spiritual master or a bona fide preacher and puts it into instruction immediately. The second class is one who falls themselves, makes the mistake, and then eventually learns and puts it in. And the third class of intelligence is one who makes the mistake again and again and never learns. And here it seems that Hiranyakashipu is displaying the third, and Prahlad Maharaj is displaying the first. That he heard the Bhagavatam once, and he put it into application. So this really emphasizes service, and I guess the way we can take it away from Prahlad Maharaj is Prahlad Maharaj heard the Bhagavatam once and put it into service. For us, Prabhupada, just to serve us wrote the Bhagavad and translated it and wrote all these purports. So for us, it's so important to read the Bhagavad and to listen to it and put the teachings of it into purpose. But service is not doing what we want to do. Service is doing what is asked of us. There's a nice Prabhupada pastime where one time Prabhupada asked one of the devotees to bring him water because he was coughing a lot. And the devotee was, out of affection and love, brought him warm milk. And Prabhupada was very angry. And Prabhupada said for water. And the devotee said, yes, Prabhupada, but listen, you're trying to sleep, you can't sleep, coughing a lot, drink some hot milk, that's better for you. Prabhupada said, no, service is not you serving me how you want to, and I have to accept whatever you give. Service is you do what is asked. Service is doing what is instructed. And this instruction is so important. And I guess Prabhupada really exemplified it through his life, and Prabhupada also exemplified it through his pastimes. So, when we have our modes of service, there are many different ways we serve. We serve, in more practical ways when we clean, or we cook, we clean the temple, and then we also serve our spiritual master. And it's in Bhagavad Gita 4.34. You must have put the translation. But the essence of this verse is there are three things. 4.34.
This representative by approaching the spiritual master, inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The sly soul can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth.
So the essence of this verse is that we have to approach a spiritual master, inquire submissively, and render service. So all spiritual masters within our parampara, the great service we do to them is chanting and following the four Ahimsa principles. That is Prabhupada is our service to Prabhupada, that is our service to our spiritual master, that is a vow we make and we follow it. But beyond this, we must render service to our spiritual master and service to other Vaishnavas. This was exemplified by even Mahaprabhu, where after Mahaprabhu took initiation in Gaya, he experienced so much love, he experienced so much bliss that he simply wanted to run away to Vrindavan. And he woke up in the middle of the night and he was in complete ecstasy and he was ready to just run from Gaya to Vrindavan. But in this moment, the celestial beings and other devotees that were there pleaded him and said, "O Vishwambar, you appeared here not to run away and experience love, although that is one of your major pastimes. You came here to establish the movement, the Harinam Sankirtan movement. So please go to Navadvip. Please support, please serve us. Please serve us with your mercy." And that is what Mahaprabhu did. Instead of going to Vrindavan and living his leelas, he went to Navadvip as his greatest service to us. And when he went to Navadvip, even after initiation, and when he was Nimai Pandit, there's so many pastimes of how much of an arrogant Brahmana he was. But after initiation, all of this, he went to Navadvip and he would go to the devotees and he would beg blessings. He would go to these, householders and he would say, "Oh Vaishnava, please put your feet on my head. Oh Vaishnava, please put the dust of your feet on my head and please bless me." And these Vaishnavas were very merciful and they would say, "Oh Chaitanya, we hope you find love. We hope you understand your relationship with Krishna." And they would bless him. But Mahaprabhu wouldn't just ask for blessings. He would do service for them. Does anyone know what type of service he would do? He would go to these Vaishnavas' houses and he would wash their clothes with his hand. This is the Supreme Personality of Godhead washing his devotees' clothes. Does anyone here wash other people's clothes with their hand? Hand wash? So he would do such menial services for the Vaishnavas, and he would really exemplify that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Lord of the Universe, is washing the devotees' clothes in the river. So here we see that even the Lord was, so much absorbed in service. Even great acharyas and Vaishnavas within our parampara, even recently, if you look at Andhra Prabhu, where so many Maharajas, you'll see that they serve, we see Maharaj in the temple, he'll move mats, he'll serve. We see Radhika Swami all the time in a humble mood. We see Andhra Prabhu was so much absorbed in chanting, and so he would go and he would serve, he would wash the devotees' clothes, he would cook for them, and he would serve. And that is that is how we attain ruchi of chanting. It's like the secret. If we're chanting all day and we neglect all of our services, we will never feel that ruchi. So like when Aspakeshwar Maharaj is here, he mentioned, it's about finding the balance between service and doing your sadhana and being able to connect with devotees. So there's a nice story of Srivas Thakur. When he was Navadvip, Srivas Thakur and Haridas, an interesting fact, but Haridas Thakur, I don't know whose mood he embodies within. He's the combined mood of Prahlad Maharaj and Narendra. So Srivas Thakur, Haridas Thakur, when they were in Navadvip under Muslim reign, they would chant loudly on the streets. They would chant 24 hours, chant at night, and they would just chant all the time. And as they were chanting, a lot of the neighbors and everyone would get disturbed. Similarly when sometimes we go for Harinam and we disturb, it seems like a disturbance. But really it was ecstasy for them, and it was, liberating. They were very disturbed. And one time the leaders of that week got so fed up, and they said, you know what, Srivas, enough of this. Today we're done. We've tolerated you for long enough. We've given you so many warnings. We're reporting to you to the king, and the king is sending a big ship full of his soldiers, and the soldiers are going to take you away. And that's it, done. We have had enough of you. We have tolerated you. We've told you to stop, and you never stopped. So this is it. We're reporting you. And Srivas Thakur was completely unbothered. He was completely unbothered. He went about his day, and he was doing his puja, and he's doing his services. And he was simply going about. And then Mahaprabhu came, and Mahaprabhu said, Srivas, there's not one, but 2 ships of soldiers coming, right? And here, Srivas Thakur was like, that's okay, I have the protection of the Lord. And in this moment, Mahaprabhu revealed his true form, because this is right after he came from Gaya. He revealed his true form to Srivas Thakur as, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he was saying, I am him. And at first nobody believed him, and they're like, okay, this man is absolutely crazy. But Srivas Thakur knew, and all of Srivas Thakur's family and all of his maidservants came outside, and they saw that Mahaprabhu was original form as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He had manifested that. And everyone saw that, and everyone started worshipping him. And everyone started taking the dust of his lotus feet and smearing it on their bodies. And, there was just so much ecstatic, loving exchanges between the devotees and Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu said that although these ships are coming, and although there may be fear amongst all the devotees here, feel no fear, because if I see the king on the ship, the king will come, because you have caused so much of a disturbance that the king will feel that he personally has to come. I will simply go to that king and I will ask him, does your chanting of the holy name, do your scriptures, by simply reading it, can you make animals dance in ecstasy in the forest? Can you make small children cry? Can you make everyone cry simply out of the love of Godhead? And he would simply bring the king and he would have this conversation with them. So Mahaprabhu was reassuring them and saying, no, don't worry. If the king comes, we'll talk. Don't worry, we won't let him take you away. And this is the reassurance that Mahaprabhu came to establish them, but as he's doing this, he's serving the devotees. He's taking care of them. When Mahaprabhu would go for Sankirtan with all the devotees, it was very hot in Navadvip, and it was, the devotees would get very tired. They would just go for hours and hours and hours, chanting and dancing and just complete ecstasy. I think there was one time where all the devotees came to a big field and they simply collapsed out of exhaustion. As sometimes we collapse after Sankirtan, where it was just so hot and so sweaty. And just out of pure love and service for his disciples, he found a small mango seed and he put it into the ground. And out of the ground came a mango tree with thousands of mangoes. And Mahaprabhu was so merciful. He not only planted the seed, and the tree grew right away because of his immense power, but he went up and he started climbing the tree and picking individual mangoes for all the devotees, giving them to them. And these were no ordinary mangoes. These were mangoes that we would, imagine in Goloka, where there was no seed, there was no peel on it. They were just the sweetest, juiciest nectarian mangoes. And Mahaprabhu was simply taking and using serving to everyone. So we see that this service, something that Mahaprabhu, even when he entered his most ecstatic phase of his life, he was constantly, in the mood of chanting, constantly feeling separation of Radharani, constantly, feeling this mood. He was still serving, but not in like big grand gestures, but even small menial ways of, giving them mangoes and washing their clothes, and just taking care of devotees, because our entire movement is to establish the mood of service. Never trying to establish the mood of service for Krishna is very difficult. So we step on step, more mercy. We take a little bit more mercy, and we say, okay, I'll serve Gaurathai, I'll serve that, because there's more mercy there. But still, we're not qualified. We have spiritual masters, and we attempt to serve our spiritual masters, by listening to them, by doing their instructions, by approaching them, by following their instructions. But sometimes we struggle with that. We cannot chant with 100% absorption. We cannot follow the instructions of the spiritual master. We struggle. And that's why we serve devotees. Because when we serve devotees, and devotees are pleased, Krishna is pleased. And as we slowly work this chain of mercy, and we get the mercy of Vaishnavas, and we get the mercy of our spiritual master, and we get the mercy of Mahaprabhu, we eventually slowly get the mercy of Radharani, which is Krishna. And all of this comes from just service. Because without service, we cannot please the spiritual master. I'll stop if there's any questions or comments.
So, you mentioned like Prahlad heard Bhagavatam when he was in the home. So, Canto Saris was a part of Bhagavatam. So, did he hear his own story? Good question. That's a really nice question, actually.
Good question. I'm not sure, but I know the Bhagavatam has been narrated many, many times, and but Narada Muni narrated. Perhaps he did tell stories. I don't know. Does anyone else know the answer to this?
Maybe before the things happened with the parallel words, right?
Yeah.
Like parallel words is he may not be explained about his own story, but like the previous stories and like the future stories, the Krishna.
The story could have been an addition. Because Bhagavatam is about devotees, right? So it could be an addition.
In our life, Bhagavatam starts with Parikshit Maharaj. In Parikshit Maharaj's time, how did it start? In Nirvisharanya? Like for us, it starts with the situation happens with Parikshit Maharaj. But when Parikshit Maharaj was looking for the divine knowledge, how did Bhagavatam start? What was he? And did he listen to his own story?
It's a really good question.
Our parampara is from Vyasadeva, after that is Sukadeva goes. So after Vyasadeva is directly explained to that's where we have this entire knowledge.
The question here, Prahlad Maharaj, where Hiranyakashipu is killed and Prahlad Maharaj becomes the king, still Shukracharya remains the spiritual master. Why his consciousness is not that pure, and he is a spiritual master, but not one of my disciplic succession. But still, when it comes to Bali Maharaj, Shukracharya, spiritual master, when he is not the right person, still he prays to I hate him.
Yeah.
I'll get the question. Yeah.
Like Shukracharya is not the right spiritual master, we can say.
I think it's not that Shukracharya was the right spiritual master of the wrong. It's that Shukracharya's sons were simply not, because the right spiritual master is one that takes you closer to Krishna. And Shukracharya may have had those teachings, or he may have had the right consciousness eventually as he became purified. The sons had no bona fide qualifications. So in Shanka, they were teaching Prahlad. They were simply not teaching him the right thing. They were teaching him Hiranyakashipu consciousness, which is not the goal.
These Brahmanas were trying to please their religion. That's why they changed in the older days.
And I think it's also out of respect, because externally one can be spiritual master, someone's spiritual master, but like in our parampara it is shown that like we're not a diksha parampara, we're a shiksha parampara. So it's whoever's instructions you take and internalize, they become your guru. Just not you sitting on that, it is definitely that. but it's more so whose instructions are you taking, who are you serving physically, whose instructions are you taking, following, and serving. And in this material world, there's so many, spiritual gurus and masters and whatnot. There's a nice story of this, that there was a very, very rich boy, and he was in a helicopter, and he taken from one place to the other, and he was flying over a forest. And in this forest, he saw many, many trees, and he was very curious. And there seemed to be a little bit of honey dripping from these trees. And the boy was very curious, and he tells his assistant, and he says, "Stop here, stop here." He's like, "Hold the plane there. I want down, and I want to see what's that honey dripping from the trees." And the person driving the helicopter, his friends, everyone who was there said, "You have lots of honey at home. There's no need for you to have this curiosity as to why there's one drop of honey dripping from these trees." The boy said, "No, I will just look and come back. I will simply look and come back." So he goes down to the trees, and he sees that there's a little bit of honey dripping from each of these trees, and he sees there's people hanging from them. And he thinks, there's so many people hanging from them, and I'm up in this helicopter. I want to go and see why so many people are there. I want to see if so many people are doing something, they must be experiencing some bliss. They must be experiencing some taste, something, Because normally we think that way, right? If there's a big crowd, there must be something good there. So the boy says, "Okay, wait, I'm going to go down and go on these trees." So first he stands at the top of the tree, and he's comfortable, he's safe, he's looking around. He's seeing all these people hanging, then he notices people are hanging, so he says, "I also want to hang the trees." So he gives his balanced position, and he starts hanging from the trees. Then he looks around, and he sees that everyone is hanging, but everyone looks very miserable. So he's hanging, and he says, "Okay," and then everyone around him says, No, wait. There's one drop of honey that comes, you just wait." The boy is like, "No, my arms are getting very tired. I'm going to fall down, these trees are so tall." But everyone around him says, No, wait. There are so many spiritual masters here who will guide you on how to hold the tree better. So then he looks around, and there's one person who's leading a crash course on how to hold the tree very strong. And there's another who's leading a crash course on how to hang upside down from the tree so your arms don't get tired. Then there's another one who's leading a course on how to hang with one hand so you can balance everything. All these, he looks around, there's so many people teaching. He's like, okay, this seems like a very bona fide place. So he keeps hanging, and he's seeing around, and there's people teaching him how to hang with one hand upside down with one leg. And he's thinking, where's the honey? Why am I hanging here? One drop of honey. And he has a realization that so many people teaching so many, but no one is teaching me how to get down from the tree, how to go up, how to stand on the tree and go back up. So that's like an anecdote. Anecdote represents this material world, where it's like we were with our father who has buckets and buckets of honey. We got so curious when we saw this, and we were like, "No, I want to make my own honey. I will wait for that honey." So we got down the tree, and slowly, as we became more and more involved with the material world, we started hanging. And in this material world, there are so many bogus gurus, and so many Tony Robbins and Andrew Tates, and so many different people teaching you how to hang with one hand and two hands, and with your leg and this leg. But the real guru, the real teacher, is one who will teach you how to stand on that tree or just get off that tree. Because we all have rich fathers. We all have that pot of honey. So that's the real spiritual master, is one who tells us how to get down from the tree and go back to where we have the big pot of honey. So to get this relationship with our spiritual master, to get this relationship and get that reciprocal connection, we must serve. And so the essence of this is do service and find serve spiritual master, follow the instructions of our masters and Prabhupada.
Can I add something to his question?
Yeah.
Even the mentioned great Acharya, right? Even the Acharyas until Brahma, they all are affected by three modes of medium nature. Unlike when he is dealing with Bali Maharaj, he wanted Bali Maharaj to don't give everything to Lord.
That was the same thing, right? Like he is not pure here. He wasn't pure over there as well.
And that's what I'm saying. They always affected by so many examples we were seeing earlier. So the great Munis, like the great Mahajans also, they are affected by some vehicles.
You said Mahaprabhu. So there is one time in Chaitanya Charitamrita where Mahaprabhu shows his original form to Rama and Narayan. He was like Radha Krishna.
Ramana saying Mahaprabhu, Radha. So he also said that he showed his form to Srinivas. So was the same form or was it?
I think it was in the Jita Chaitamrita described that it was the form of his blackish body and peacock feathers
So like
in
Krishna.
Krishna form. Yeah.
So but
There's always Radharani's mood there, so it's not explicitly described, but I think Radharani's mood is there.
Sorry, I was just trying to highlight something. We were asking that why was he being accepted by the line, like by the hierarchy of Hiranyakashipu, right?
Until Prahlad Maharaj was okay, because Prahlad Maharaj was the devotee. Similarly, when he is a devotee and he becomes the king, still I mean they are following the same.
Yeah. So that it's mentioned that the word Sukra Acharya means seaman. So I searched up seminal, and it means that someone who is in the hierarchy, right, following the hierarchy. It is said here that hereditary gurus or spiritual master have been accepted everywhere since memorial, and that's why, because he was coming in the hierarchy, he was being accepted as the guru. But it was not in the line of parampara. Down it's mentioned that the actual guru is Throdiya, or one who has heard or received the perfect knowledge through parampara. So the Sukracharya, he didn't receive the knowledge through parampara. He was coming in the hierarchy of gurus. That's why he's being accepted.
Prahlad line to accept him as a spiritual
Yeah.
master, and Bali Maharaj's grandson accepts him as a spiritual
It's
master.
not.
Yeah.
It's not Shukracharya. It's Shankar. Allowed to on side. Because he got the teachings from Narada Muni. He did it through
Yeah.
Shukracharya.
But Maharaj also rejects them, rejects Sukracharya, right? At the time when Vasudev comes and he asks for the 3 steps, and Shukracharya declines, please do not give it, right? But then he actually goes against the spiritual master and gives the 3-step land. So he accepted the spiritual master.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Start one, like you mentioned about, I really like the aspect of the mood of service. But I think, so the thing is that a lot of people come and give us instructions and knowledge. Do we accept it from everyone? And there may be different people, who may be also honest. But do we only take it from the guru that we are following, or do we take it from other Vaishnavas? Like Mahaprabhu, we just went and served them.
I think the ideal situation is we try to serve everybody with every capacity that we have. But in real life, that application becomes a little bit more difficult because, like you said, so many people will come and give us so many contradicting instructions sometimes. And then we realize that our spiritual masters are bona fide. Prabhupada is bona fide because they're not affected by the 3 modes of material nature. They're not affected by lust, greed, envy, any of these traits. They're simply giving us instructions. And Vaishnavas are often representatives, or almost representatives of their spiritual master, but then that we're all perfect. So I think if you understand the mood with which it's being, and if you try to serve, then usually you can find a nice balance. I don't know if that